There's a moment in everyone's life when the world just feels too loud. Notifications never stop buzzing. Expectations pile up like a weight you never agreed to carry. And somehow, everyone else seems to be moving faster, achieving more, smiling wider, living better. And there you are, scrolling, comparing, pretending you're fine. But deep down, you know you've lost something important. Your focus. You wake up each day feeling like you're chasing something invisible. Maybe it's success. Maybe it's approval. Maybe it's peace. Whatever it is, it always seems just one step ahead. And the harder you run, the farther it gets. You tell yourself you'll slow down, that you'll take control, that tomorrow you'll start focusing on you. But tomorrow always comes with another excuse. Another distraction, another voice louder than your own. Here's the truth. Most people lose themselves not because they don't have goals, but because they've forgotten how to listen to their own silence. They forget that focus isn't just about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's not about running faster. It's about running in the right direction. And that direction always starts with you. This isn't a book about overnight success, hustle slogans, or quick motivation. This is a journey back to yourself, to your thoughts, your emotions, your unshaken truth. Because before you can win anything out there, you have to win the battle inside. As you listen, I want you to picture something, a version of you who doesn't need validation, who doesn't chase noise, who doesn't fold under pressure, a version who looks in the mirror and sees quiet confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because they know who they are becoming. So, take a deep breath. Forget the world for a moment. Forget the deadlines, the opinions, the expectations. This story is about you, your growth, your focus, your fight. Because when you stop trying to prove and start trying to build, that's when everything changes, and that's when you finally begin to win. Chapter 1. The Noise That Drowns You. There's a kind of silence that feels peaceful, the kind that settles over you after a long day, when your mind finally exhales. But there's another kind of silence, the one inside you when the world's noise becomes too much. It's when you can't even hear your own thoughts anymore. Every voice, every post, every comparison, every opinion piles up until your head feels like a crowded room with no exit. You wake up, and before you even breathe, your thumb finds the screen. News, messages, likes, achievements. Everyone is doing something, showing something, becoming something. And you're just there, feeling like you've been left behind in a race that never ends. The world doesn't even mean to drown you. It just does. The hardest part is, you don't even notice it happening at first. The distractions don't come in screaming. They whisper. Just 5 minutes. Just one more scroll. Just one more episode. And little by little, your focus gets stolen by things that don't build you, by people who don't know you, by moments that don't matter. You start mistaking motion for meaning. You're busy all the time, but not fulfilled. You're connected to everyone, but detached from yourself. You begin to live in fragments, half in your goals, half in your distractions, half in your future, half in everyone else's highlight reel. And that's how most people lose years of their life, not in dramatic moments, but in quiet drift. But here's something raw and real. Life won't wait for you to mute the noise. You have to do it yourself. You have to decide when enough is enough. You have to build a wall around your focus and say, this is mine, my peace, my time, my direction. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It means remembering that your energy is sacred. Every time you give it to something meaningless, you have less left for what actually matters. The world will never stop asking for your attention, but you can stop giving it away so easily. When you start cutting through the noise, something magical happens. You start hearing your own voice again. And that voice, that quiet, inner whisper, it knows exactly where you need to go. You just forgot how to listen. So today, turn down the volume on everything else. Turn up the volume on you. Because once you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your power, and that's where your story begins. Chapter 2. The Mirror That Tells the Truth. There's a strange moment that happens when you finally stop running. You wake up one day, look at yourself in the mirror, and realize you've been chasing everything but yourself. You see the tired eyes, the forced smile, the pressure behind it all, and for once, you stop pretending. That's when the mirror starts talking. Not with words, but with truth. The truth is uncomfortable. It doesn't care about your excuses, your plans, or your masks. It just reflects what's real. The mirror doesn't lie about how long you've been distracted, or how much you've been avoiding your own growth. It doesn't sugarcoat your potential or your pain. It shows you who you are right now and who you could be if you stopped holding yourself back. Most people avoid that reflection. They rush through mornings half awake, half aware, because standing still with yourself means facing everything you've been avoiding. The self-doubt, the guilt, the fear that maybe you're not enough. But here's the secret. That fear is exactly where your strength begins. You see, focusing on yourself isn't just about ambition or discipline. It's about honesty. It's about stripping away the lies you've built to survive. It's about admitting that maybe you've been distracted, that maybe you've given too much of yourself to things that didn't deserve you. And that's okay. Awareness isn't failure. It's the first step toward change. When you look in the mirror and see beyond the surface, you start to understand what you really need. Not validation, not applause, just peace, the kind that comes from knowing you're finally showing up for yourself. You start to rebuild trust with the person staring back at you. You begin to say, "I've got you." And for the first time in a long time, you actually mean it. There's power in that kind of truth, the kind that doesn't need noise, filters, or approval. The kind that whispers, "You are not behind. You're just beginning again." This time, with clarity. And that's where focus takes root. Not in the hustle, but in honesty. You can't build a strong life on shaky ground. But when you face your truth, you stop running from it and start running with it. Because the mirror doesn't just show who you are, it shows who you're becoming. And that reflection, that's your reminder that you are still in control. Chapter 3. When the world moves without you. There's a strange kind of ache that comes from feeling left behind. You see your friends climbing the ladder, strangers online, buying houses, traveling, launching businesses, and smiling, like life's on their side. Meanwhile, you're stuck, maybe working quietly, maybe lost in uncertainty, and it feels like the world is spinning forward while you're standing still. That feeling can eat you alive if you let it. Because comparison isn't just envy, it's self-doubt dressed as observation. It makes you question your pace, your worth, even your direction. It tells you that you're not enough, not fast enough, not successful enough, not disciplined enough. And that voice grows louder every time you scroll, every time you look around instead of looking within. But here's the thing, the world doesn't tell you. Everyone moves at their own speed. The reason it hurts isn't because you're behind. It's because you're comparing your becoming to someone else's become. You're looking at their highlight reel without seeing their silent battles, their nights of failure, their own version of stuck. You can't see their process because you're too busy judging your own pause. There's power in being still, power in waiting, power in taking your time. The world celebrates speed, but growth happens in the quiet, in the long, unseen hours when no one is watching. Sometimes standing still doesn't mean you're not moving. It means you're aligning. It means you're learning, healing, recalibrating. And that is its own form of progress. When you stop chasing everyone else's pace, something beautiful happens. You begin to move in rhythm with yourself. You start noticing what feels right, what fuels you, what drains you. You start building from intention, not insecurity. And that's where real momentum begins, not from panic, but from purpose. So if it feels like the world is moving without you, let it. Let them run. Let them chase. Because when you finally move, you'll move with direction. And that kind of movement doesn't just look powerful. It is powerful. Focus on your lane. Trust your timeline. Remember, your growth is happening even if it's not trending. You're not late. You're becoming. And that's a journey no one else can take for you. Chapter 4. The Weight of Distractions. Distractions are sneaky. They don't always show up as obvious time wasters. Sometimes they come disguised as responsibilities, opportunities, or even self-care. They whisper things like, "You deserve a break," or "You'll get serious tomorrow." And before you know it, you've lost another day, another chance to build the life you said you wanted. We live in an attention economy. Everything around you is designed to pull your mind in 100 directions, to make you scroll a little longer, buy a little more, care about things that don't matter. The world profits off your distraction. And the cost? Your focus, your time, your peace. The scary part is how normal it's become. You tell yourself you're just multitasking, that you can handle it. Answering messages while working, checking notifications during meals, listening to podcasts while thinking about your next move. But what's really happening is you're never fully anywhere. You're always half present, half distracted. And when your attention gets divided too often, your potential does too. The truth is, distraction is not just about losing focus. It's about losing identity. Every time you chase what's meaningless, you drift further from what's meaningful. You start reacting to life instead of creating it. And you can't build anything powerful while you're being pulled in 10 directions at once. Focus is not a talent. It's a choice. It's the decision to guard your mind like it's sacred, because it is. It's about saying no, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about creating small pockets of stillness in a chaotic world. Time where it's just you, your thoughts, and your goals. Because in those moments of silence, clarity is born. And once you feel the power of clarity, distraction starts to lose its grip. You stop needing constant stimulation. You stop looking for the next thing. You stop running from boredom. You start realizing that focus isn't restriction, it's freedom. The freedom to pour your entire energy into something that matters. The world will keep trying to steal your attention. That won't change, but you can change what you allow. You can choose to stop letting distractions write your story. Because the moment you do, the moment you finally decide to protect your focus, you start becoming unstoppable. Chapter 5. The Fear of Being Behind. There's a heaviness that sits in your chest when you feel like life is passing you by. Everyone around you seems to be hitting milestones, landing jobs, getting engaged, buying homes, building something visible, and you're still trying to figure out what's next. You smile, you clap, you say you're happy for them, and you are. But deep down, there's a quiet voice that whispers, "Why not me?" That's the fear of being behind, one of the most invisible battles of our generation. It's the anxiety that keeps you up at night, the self-doubt that creeps in when you scroll through social media, the subtle panic that makes you question your own timing. You start to wonder if maybe you missed your chance, if maybe the window has already closed. But here's something you need to remember. There is no universal timeline for greatness. The idea that success has an age limit is one of the biggest lies we've been taught. Everyone's life unfolds at a different rhythm. Some bloom early, some bloom later, and some bloom in silence before the world ever sees their light. Being behind only exists when you're measuring your life by someone else's pace. You can't compare yours to someone else's. You have no idea what sacrifices they made, what failures they faced, or how long they waited to get where they are. You only see the result, not the road. So if you're feeling lost, take that as a sign, not of failure, but of direction. Lost simply means you're searching. It means you're awake enough to know there's more for you. The pressure you feel, it's not punishment. It's your potential asking to be realized. When fear tells you you're running late, tell it this: you can't be late to a destiny that's yours. You're not behind, you're becoming. You're learning lessons that others skipped. You're growing roots that make you unshakable. And when your moment comes, you'll move faster and stronger because you built depth while others chased speed. So breathe. You're exactly where you need to be. The people who rush often burn out, but the ones who stay patient, grounded, and consistent, they win quietly, then all at once. You don't need to catch up. You just need to keep going. Because what's meant for you will never move without you. Chapter 6. Turning pain into fuel. Pain has a way of showing up uninvited. It doesn't knock. It barges in. Heartbreak, failure, betrayal, disappointment, loss. And at first, it just feels unfair. You ask, why me? You question everything: your worth, your path, your purpose. Pain shakes the ground beneath you and forces you to face truths you've been avoiding. But pain also carries a secret gift: transformation. It's the fire that either burns you or forges you, and you get to choose which one it becomes. Every person who's ever built something meaningful has walked through moments of hurt that could have broken them, but instead, they turned it into fuel. When you stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation, everything shifts. That heartbreak teaches you self-worth. That failure teaches you resilience. That rejection redirects you toward something better. Life doesn't hurt you to destroy you. It hurts you to wake you up, to remind you what truly matters, to push you closer to who you're meant to be. Think of pain as energy. It doesn't disappear, but you can redirect it. You can turn your anger into discipline, your sadness into empathy, your fear into focus. The same emotion that once made you feel small can become the force that makes you unstoppable. The truth is, people who've never faced pain often lack depth, but those who've been through storms carry a quiet power, a strength that doesn't need to shout. They've learned how to rebuild. They've learned how to breathe underwater. They've learned how to rise without noise. So don't run from your pain. Sit with it. Listen to what it's trying to teach you. Because when you turn your wounds into wisdom, no one can take that power from you. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived something meant to end you. And you're still standing. That's strength. That's focus. That's the fire inside you saying, I'm not done yet. Pain might have slowed you down, but it didn't stop you. In fact, it's the reason you'll win, because once you've learned how to use your hurt as fuel, there's nothing left in this world that can break you. Chapter 7. When focus feels lonely. No one talks enough about how lonely self-growth can feel. You start focusing on your goals, setting boundaries, saying no more often, and suddenly, the crowd around you starts to thin out. People who once called you every weekend now call you less. Group chats go quiet. Invitations fade. And there's a moment, one quiet, late-night moment, When you start wondering if becoming better means becoming alone. That's the hard truth about focus. It isolates you before it empowers you. Growth always asks for space. Space from noise, from comfort, from validation. You start realizing that not everyone is meant to walk the same part of the path as you. Some people were only there for your distractions, not your discipline. Some liked the version of you that needed them, not the version that outgrew them. It hurts, doesn't it? Watching people drift away while you're trying to build something invisible, a stronger mind, a calmer heart, a more grounded life. It feels like you're choosing solitude over belonging. But what you're really choosing is alignment. You're choosing the few who understand your silence over the many who only respected your noise. You're choosing progress over popularity. You're choosing the future version of yourself over the comfort of the familiar. And that kind of choice, that kind of maturity, comes with loneliness before it comes with peace. But here's the truth you'll eventually realize: focus isn't lonely forever. It's just quiet while you're building. Eventually, the silence becomes strength. You start enjoying your own company, respecting your own boundaries, trusting your own decisions. You stop seeking validation because you start feeling whole. And one day, you'll look around and realize that your circle didn't shrink. It just refined. The ones who stayed through your focus didn't need entertainment to keep them close. They respected your vision enough to walk beside you in silence. So yes, focus can feel lonely, but it's the kind of loneliness that rebuilds you. The kind that cleans your environment and recenters your soul. Because in the stillness, you rediscover the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Chapter 8. Becoming Unshakable. There comes a point in your journey when you stop chasing motivation and start building stability. You realize that motivation is fleeting. It's loud when life feels exciting, but it vanishes the moment things get hard. Discipline, on the other hand, is quiet, consistent, unglamorous, but it's what keeps you standing when everything else shakes. To become unshakable, you have to stop tying your focus to how you feel and start tying it to who you are. Feelings change. Identity endures. You won't always feel inspired, but if you know who you are and what you stand for, you'll keep moving, even through the fog, even through doubt, even through fear. Being unshakable doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means pain doesn't control you anymore. You still fall, you still break, but you rebuild faster. You stop personalizing every setback and start seeing it as part of the process. You stop needing every day to be good. You just need every day to count. It's in those small, invisible choices. Waking up when you don't want to, keeping promises no one sees, showing up for yourself again and again, that your strength is forged. You don't become unshakable overnight. You build it like a muscle, through repetition, through resistance, through the refusal to quit. And here's the thing: people will notice, not because you talk about it, but because your energy changes. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop rushing. You start moving with quiet certainty, not because life is easy, but because you've made peace with its rhythm. You understand that storms aren't interruptions. They're part of the weather, and you've learned how to stand tall in the rain. Becoming unshakable is not about being hard. It's about being grounded. It's about trusting yourself so deeply that no opinion, failure, or setback can shake your foundation. Because once you build that, once your peace becomes internal instead of conditional, you become a force. And that's when the world starts noticing what you've known all along, that you were never fragile, just unfinished. And now, you're finally becoming the version of you that no storm can break. Chapter 9. The Power of quiet wins. We live in a world obsessed with loud success. Everyone shouting their victories online, posting the highlights, the numbers, the applause. But here's the truth. No one tells you. The most powerful wins are the ones no one sees. The quiet ones. The ones that don't trend, don't get likes, don't earn praise. The ones that happen in silence, in discipline, in patience. A quiet win is when you wake up early even though no one's watching. It's when you finish that chapter, that workout, that project, even when no one will clap. It's when you keep a promise to yourself. It's when you don't quit. Those moments don't get celebrated, but they change everything. Quiet wins build self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of everything. Focus, confidence, peace, success. Because when you trust yourself to follow through, you stop needing the world's validation. You stop chasing applause and start chasing progress. You stop trying to look successful and start becoming successful. The problem is, most people underestimate what's invisible. They want fireworks, not slow burns. But real change happens gradually, almost unnoticeably. You don't wake up one day with your dream life. You build it one small win at a time. You keep stacking consistency, focus, and effort until one day the world looks at you and says, "Wow, you've changed." But you know the truth. You didn't change overnight. You changed quietly, every single T. And here's the most beautiful part. Quiet wins compound. Each one makes you a little stronger, a little more confident, a little more disciplined. They build momentum until one day you realize that the person you've become is unstoppable. So if no one's cheering for you right now, good. That means you're doing the real work. That means you're not performing for validation. You're training for greatness. And when you finally rise, it won't be noise that defines you. It'll be your quiet strength. Because success isn't always about being seen. Sometimes it's about being solid, strong enough to keep moving, focused enough to keep growing, humble enough to keep working. Your quiet wins are proof that you're not waiting for the world to believe in you. You're learning to believe in yourself. And that belief, that's where real victory begins. Chapter 10. Until you win. Winning isn't just about reaching at the goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't stop until they do. It's about building a mindset that refuses to fold under pressure, that stays steady when things get hard, that knows pain isn't the end. It's the process. There's something deeply powerful about people who decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how lonely it gets, no matter how many times they fall, they'll keep showing up. That's not ego. That's devotion. That's self-respect turned into action. The truth is, most people give up not because they lack talent, but because they run out of patience. They want results before growth, rewards before effort, recognition before consistency. But the ones who make it, the ones who truly win, they understand that the process itself is the reward. Every setback, every struggle, every late night, every doubt, it's all shaping you into someone who can handle the victory when it finally comes. And when it does come, when your focus finally pays off, when your effort finally compounds, when you look around and realize you've become everything you once dreamed of, it won't be luck that got you there. It'll be endurance. You didn't get here by chasing shortcuts. You got here by staying when others left, by focusing when others got distracted, by believing when others doubted. And that's the kind of win no one can take from you. But here's what truly separates the winners. They never stop at one victory. Because once you learn how to focus on yourself, you realize there's no finish line. Growth doesn't end. It evolves. Each win becomes the foundation for a higher one. Each achievement reminds you that you can go further. So keep going. Keep refining. Keep building. The world may not always see your grind, but one day it'll feel your impact. You owe it to yourself to keep pushing, not to prove anything to anyone, but to honor the person you're becoming because you fought too hard to stop halfway. And when that moment comes, when you finally stand tall, proud, grounded, you'll know it was never about beating others, it was about mastering yourself. So stay focused, stay patient, stay unshakable, because the story doesn't end when you win. It begins because you did. Conclusion. In the end, focusing on yourself isn't about selfishness. It's about survival. It's about learning to stop giving the world power over your peace. You've spent so much of your life proving, pleasing, chasing, comparing. But this journey, this quiet shift, is about something deeper. It's about coming home to yourself. When you started this path, maybe you thought winning meant reaching a goal, crossing a finish line, or finally getting recognition. But now you know the truth. Winning isn't one big moment. It's a series of quiet decisions. It's choosing to show up on the days when no one believes in you. It's choosing discipline when distraction feels easier. It's choosing peace when drama calls your name. It's choosing to grow when staying the same would be more comfortable. Because success isn't a single event. It's who you become through the process. It's the patience you develop when things take longer than expected. It's the confidence that grows when you stop needing validation. It's the calm that settles in your heart when you finally trust your timing. That's what lasting victory feels like. Not loud, not flashy, but steady and sure. You've learned that focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring others. It means filling your own cup so you can pour from strength, not emptiness. You've learned that distractions will always exist, but you get to decide which ones deserve your energy. You've learned that loneliness in growth isn't punishment, it's protection. It's life giving you space to build without noise. So as this journey ends, remember, focus isn't something you find once. It's something you recommit to every single day. There will be setbacks. There will be doubt. But as long as you keep coming back to you, your goals, your growth, your purpose, you'll never truly lose. Because the real win isn't just achieving something, it's becoming someone grounded, clear, and unshakable. Focus on you. Protect your peace. Move with purpose. And don't stop, not until you win.